Hi friends, today we'll do a classic magic trick. So I have a piece of cloth here, and what I do is I stuff it into my hand, and now with a magical spell or whatever, I wave around and it's gone. And now I again go back to the other hand and I take the cloth out. So that's the magic trick. So how did I do it? The trick all lies in this piece of fake thumb here. It's a fake thumb that goes into your thumb, and that's the secret behind this magic trick. I was around 10, I bought a magic kit, and with that magic kit I got this fake thumb. Well, back then my thumb was a lot smaller, and now it's still big for me. Back then it looked something like Bruce Banner with a Hulk thumb. It was so big, and the color was not matching to my skin color. So altogether I didn't do the magic with that. So recently I made a new thumb, a homemade version of this thumb, and this suits me very well. And today I'm going to teach you how to make this fake thumb at home. To make the thumb, you will need some glue, foil paper, tape, a paintbrush, and you will need torn pieces of paper, some sketch pens, and a palette with paint. And also you'll need some water to make the glue water paste. I'll get into that later on. So these are the stuff you will need to make the fake thumb. So let's start making. So first you should take the foil paper and you have to use your thumb. And what we are going to do is to get the shape of our thumb using the foil paper. You could cut off the extra and fold it neatly in place. So now you have the basic shape of the thumb, and now you could try to just take off the mold so it comes off neatly. So next, what are we going to do? The next step is, next we'll take the tape and coat the foil paper with tape. Make sure you leave a bit of tape outside the finger, like this. Some of it should stay outside. We are keeping the foil in our thumb so that we don't tamper with the shape of our thumb. Once you've done that, you should give a crown to the thumb, a tape crown. So our thumb is completely coated with tape. Now let's carefully remove the extra bit. And you could give us bit of cuts to the tape. And slowly take the thumb off. Now let's keep this onto a piece of paper. Stick it on. So the thumb is in place. Now we got to coat this thumb with this paper. We do that with water and glue. So take a bit of water and add a lot of glue into it. You could remove the extra lid too. We need a lot of gum. Kind of 1:1 ratio of water and gum. And now use the brush to mix water glue paste. Mix it well. Now it looks kind of like thick milk. And now we are ready to go. So what we are going to do is, we are going to first of all just coat the tape and start applying the piece of paper onto the tape. Make sure the entire tape is covered with this newspaper. At least at least three coating of newspaper is needed. Once you are done with that, you need to take up a white paper and again tear it into bits. Now we will coat our thumb with one layer of this paper. And once we are done coating, then comes the most difficult part. We have to set this thing to dry for at least 1 day. And when I was a kid, most of my art and craft projects were a failure because I didn't have the patience to wait for 1 day. So, so the little guys watching this, please do wait for at least 24 hours. And after 24 hours, this thing will turn hard. And 1 day doesn't mean you keep this to dry at 10 p.m. at night and you come back to it just when the clock strikes 12. That's not 1 day. You should wait for at least 24 hours. So no cheating and be patient.
And make sure to wash the brush.
The waiting's over and the thumb looks quite dry. Now let's get on with the project. Now you got to slowly remove the tape surrounding the thumb. Slowly remove all the tape. Now you could see that the thumb is quite dry and stiff. Now what we have to do is slowly remove this inner coating we have. Hold the tape and slowly put something inside between the paper layer and the tape layer and slowly remove the tape layer from inside. So what we want is only the paper layer and we don't want the tape and foil paper inside. We will just remove the foil paper and tape inside. This is the main reason we left some tape outside in the first place. So when you got all the tape as a bunch, just hold it and try to remove it. Yeah. And slowly remove the tape and the foil paper from inside. And we don't want this anymore. So we got our newspaper thumb. The thumb looks perfect. Just clean up the extra bits of paper surrounding the edges. And that's it. Now let's start painting the thumb. And before that, let me tell you a story. The other thumb which I showed you, this one, actually I didn't make this exactly the same process which I used for this. The coating is made of newspaper only, but for the thing inside I used uh, not clay. Actually I wanted to use clay, but I did not have clay luckily. So I used wheat flour. That is the flour which we used to make chapatis. I used that flour to make the model of the thumb and then I coated it with newspaper just as we did for this one. But the thing was, after the coating dried, the floor or the clay kind of stuff was inside and I couldn't remove it. So I thought the project failed. So I just left the thumb outside, and after 2 days when I looked, ants had eaten away all the floor inside. So I got the coating and I got this thumb. That's the funny story behind this thumb. And if you have some wheat flour in your home and if you trust the ants to eat them, you could try doing that way also. Now let's start painting this thing. While painting, use the color which best suits your skin color. For example, if you happen to be Hulk or Gamora, use green, and if you are Forearms or Hellboy, use red, and if you are Edward's Scissorhands, then please quit the video. So for me, I'm gonna use a kind of pinkish color on this side and brownish tinge this side. If your paint doesn't stick to the surface, then use some kind of paint like acrylic paint or fabric paint to paint the thumb. That sticks better on this kind of surface. Once the painting's done, leave the thumb to dry for a while. Now the thumb is quite dry, and now we could detail the thumb with sketch pens. And you could see that there are some things which are not quite right here. I think that's because of the white paper we used to cover it up, the last layer which we used to cover the newspaper covering. I think that layer was not needed. I thought about it because it would be easier to paint the thing, but eventually it turned out the white layer made some rough markings on the paint. So better don't use a white layer, simply use newspaper to make the 3 layers of thumb which we used. So now let's start detailing the thumb. Now the thumb is quite ready, and that's it, guys. So that's it, guys. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing and sharing and commenting your response below. Thank you for watching.